dashboard, live data, all sensors, diagnostics, the freeze frame. Hey guys, this is a quick look at car scanners. In my experience of all the car scanners that I've tried, this is by far the best. I mean, it's not even close to the reliability of it, the features that it gives you, and the accuracy that it gives you, and all the options that it gives you. So once you put in all your settings, it'll ask for some basic information about the car. You come to this screen. So I'll just go through each of these menus one by one. We've got the car ignition on at the moment, and the OBD is connected. I'll put a link to a video that I've done on the OBD reader, the actual Bluetooth thing that plugs into the OBD port, so you can see what that is. But this is about this specific car scanner OBD fault code reading app. So like I said, this is the menu it comes to. So let's go to emissions tests. This is not something I use generally, but it gives you a breakdown of all the sensors it's reading. It tells you if things are okay or not. Again, not something that I usually use. We've got here acceleration test, which is again something that I've never seen on a car scanner before. So you can put in 0 to 40, 0 to 60. You can also customize what speeds you want to measure, start speed and your end speed, and you can have acceleration time, brake distance, and quarter mile times. I'm not sure how accurate it's going to be. It's going to be limited by the speed of the connection between the Bluetooth and the phone, and the Bluetooth is not the fastest of connections, so it's not going to be as accurate as like a Racelogic performance box, but I believe it's going to give you a good idea. What have we got here? So let's go into diagnostic trouble codes, probably the main thing that people want. This is I'm using this on a Focus Mark 1, which is very early OBD, and this is notoriously hard to read the codes from. So let's just go to read here. Do you want to hide DTC with statuses test not completed during this operation cycle? So I'm just going to press read now. It's just going to read the ECU to see what fault codes we have. This is the format of the faults that it brings up. So if you want to see what sensors it can read from your specific car, once you've got it connected, go to all sensors, and this will bring you up the complete list of sensors that this is reading on the specific car. Different makes and models of car, different years. You can have more or possibly less things than this, but I think this is probably a pretty basic list of sensors, so 34 altogether. Well, it's not actually sensors, some of it is fuel economy calculations and what have you, but you get the idea. When you're driving, this is going to be in real time, but you don't really want to have all the sensors updating at the same time because that slows down the connection. There's going to be a lot of lag. If we go to live data, so we've got the option between separate bar graphs, one on top of the other, or we can combine them all together. Let's just switch the car on. And we'll go for combined graphs. So we can choose what do we want in the graph. So let's have something that we can actually see when we're stationary. Let's have engine coolant temperature versus intake manifold pressure. We'll click OK. Now this is giving us a line graph of the sensors that we've got. So we've got the KPA at the bottom for the engine load, and you've got coolant temperature at the top. We'd expect the engine coolant temperature to be very stable. If we give the engine a quick blip, we can see that the map sensor shows increased load. So this is what you have in the free version. I think you can have 2, and if you want 3 or 4 on top of each other, then that will be part of the paid version of the app. So let's just come out of that, come back out of that. What else do we have here? Freeze frame. There's not really a lot to see in this one. Oh, sorry, I switched off the engine. Let's go disconnect. And let's connect again. The first attempt on this always fails, the second one always connects. So back to this menu. We've got freeze frame. Like I said, not a lot to see in this one, but basically what this does is it gives you a freeze frame of all the sensor data at the time a fault presents itself. Non-continuous monitors, total guess, but I'd say you can see the raw data of what's coming through the Bluetooth, and from that you can create your own data recording. So here we can do a data log of the of all the sensors as you're driving. You can choose what sensors you want to record, and as you're driving it will make a file for you. Again, absolutely priceless when it comes to fault diagnosis, or you want to increase the performance of the car. So the only thing left to do is the dashboard, and this is really the big standout feature of this app. And this is where you can customize a dashboard, so you can have what you see here. We've got the engine RPM, we've got speed, which will read in numbers or a dial, whatever you prefer, coolant temperature, but this is completely customizable. So if you press the gear in the top right, we can go to customize page, and we can choose between different layouts, and then you can go lower then and you can choose what do you want to appear in each window. So let's go to engine RPM. You can change the order with the arrows, and you can click the gear to change the options for that number one. And this is where, you know, this is far and away the most superior OBD app that I've ever tried. Is this feature is just amazing. So you can change the background color on that specific box. You can choose you can alter the border colors, and then you've got all these RGB color codes here. You can change the border color, which will be the surround on the gauge. So let's click green, for example. Let's go increase the size of the border. So that's what we've just changed there, the green. We can round the corners on it, so it's like so. Going down, we can use a custom title. So if we don't want to use engine RPM, we'll switch that on. Instead of engine RPM, we'll just have RPM, and that is how we do that. We can change the text color. It's a black. We can change the text size, make it bigger or smaller. The value text color, so this is going to be the gauge surround. So look what color, I'll have them in green as well. We'll change it like so. The LCD front value, color when value exceeds threshold, so we can put in like a rev limit or an RPM or an indication when something goes out of range. So if the temperature gets too high, for example, we can put a red band there. In this case it's an RPM. So something fantastic here, play sound when value exceeds threshold, so you'll get an audible warning if temperature goes out of the range. This is the range, so it goes from 0 RPM to 7,000. You can alter that, and it's the same for all the gauges. If it's temperature, you can put 0 to 130 Celsius, whatever you want. This is where you state the red line. In this case, it's from 6,000 to 7,000. Maybe finally we will have found how to change the numbers in the gauge, like so. We can change the rim color. This is you can get the idea, I think, guys. It's a completely customizable gauge. We can go gauge indicator, and it can show you in a chart, like a line graph going across. We can have it as a text indicator. So you can imagine how fantastic this is. If it was on a tablet, you can mount the tablet in the car, and you can have, you know, many different gauges displaying at the same time. And then at the bottom, when you make the changes, you can choose whether you want to apply same settings on all the items that are gauges in the dashboard. In addition to that, we've also got different pages. So we've got up to 3 pages of information. And this is free. It's with a trial period. And then it goes on, then it asks for, after a certain period of time, it gives you a limited functionality. I think we've covered everything: dashboard, live data, all sensors, diagnostics, the freeze frame, non-continuous, data recording, completely color coordinated to suit all the other lights that you've got in the car. If you're on track and you want to see the speeds that you were reaching in different places, what your throttle positions were, what your speed was, you got that in data recording. It's got a quick test for emissions equipment, and then you've got your acceleration test as well. So basically just a fantastic app, and I think it's, at least in my experience, it's so far ahead of the others. There's really no question that this is the best OBD app. Obviously, if you know of a better OBD app, feel free to send me, leave a comment below, and I'll take a look at that also. So that's the video, guys. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much. As always, thanks for watching. Look after yourself, and I'll see you again next time.